Hey, thanks for joining us. I'm Joe Cortez of Front Row Preps, coming to you from the headquarters of the Sac-Joaquin Section here in Lodi, California. Pleased to be joined by my old colleague, Will DeBoard, Assistant Commissioner here at the Sac-Joaquin Section. And right now, we're going to take a look at some playoff predictions. Now, Will, you and I used to work together at the Modesto B, and one of the things we always enjoyed doing was the mid-season playoff projections. Teams start to get a little itchy at this point of the year.
Absolutely.
So we're going to look in this edition. We're going to look at divisions 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to have another edition later, 4 through 7. So let's start with the big boys at Division 1. We've got Folsom getting the #1 seed, Oak Ridge #2, Monterey Trail #3, St. Mary's #4. Any surprises there?
Well, first of all, I will say that seeds, obviously, we still have a month to play. But what we at the section do is we use CalPreps. We use the CalPreps rankings to help determine our playoff teams, and we use those. We use those rankings to kind of look at who's going to win, who's going to lose. If a team is a 20 ranking and they're playing a team with an 18 ranking, we're assuming that's going to be a win.
The 18 team wins.
And so right now, assuming who is going to get to that 4-win mark, that is what you're looking at here. Is we do this every single week. Pretty much every Monday, we crunch the numbers.
Have to have 4 wins to get into the playoffs. You could be the #1 team, although it would be odd to be the #1 team without it.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the requisite number of wins, you're not going.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
And there are definitely some teams who probably won't get 4 wins.
Are kind of on that
that would get into the playoffs otherwise.
So right now, for our purposes, we're going strictly by CalPreps' format.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the top seeds. St. Mary's is a smaller school, but they win a Division I league, the Tri-City League. So they come up to the Division I playoffs. If you win a Division I rated league, you are in the Division I playoffs.
That's
to
correct.
Division II and on down the line. Okay, #5, where do we go here? This bracket. We got #5, Jesuit out of Carmichael. 6, Sheldon from Elk Grove. #7, Turlock from our region. And #8, Edison, taking on Gregory, #9. Who do else we have? 10 is Cosumnes Oaks.
11 Davis.
11 Davis. And 12 Modesto, getting in by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah. Modesto, the 12th team out of 12 in that first column, which we definitely have noticed. So the way we split these playoffs off, we basically took about 22, 23 teams are in each of 6 columns, and we take 12 teams from each of those 6 columns.
Each column representing a different division.
Yep, exactly.
1 through 7.
Exactly. And the second column, the D2 column, is much deeper than everybody else. So you're going to see some pretty good teams maybe not making it in D2, or at least right there on the cusp, whereas if they were in D1, they would clearly be making it.
Well, let's talk about that D2 division bracket. One team you may not have heard mentioned in Division I is PITMAN. They get pushed down because St. Mary's comes up. PITMAN gets pushed down into Division II, and we have them as the #9 seed right now. Let's look at the top 4 seeds, however. Let's start there. Del Oro, INDERKUM, Granite Bay, and Central Catholic. That's tough.
Yeah, very tough. Central's the 3 seed, the 3rd ranked team there. Central Catholic has actually been.
Oh, I'm sorry. Central and then Granite Bay.
Yeah, Central Catholic has actually been ahead of INDERKUM up until this week. This week, INDERKUM flipped them. INDERKUM they beat undefeated WOODCREEK pretty comfortably. So that's an interesting top 3 seeds. You're going to have Del Oro there, who's going to be probably either 9-1 or 8-2 in the SFL.
We got INDERKUM kind of projecting. We're looking ahead, probably 10-0.
Probably 10-0.
Del Oro 9-1 with their lone loss,
or 8-2. They're gonna potentially lose. You know, they could lose to Folsom. CalPrep certainly thinks they will, and they're gonna have a tough game with Oak Ridge as well. And then you have Central Catholic.
Could be 9-1.
Yeah, they play Oakdale, I think, in week 10, and that's probably their last.
Toughie.
Their last toughie in the regular season, that's for sure. With their 1 loss coming to
De La Salle. So that's a tough top 4 right there. Rounding out the 12 teams in this bracket, we have number 5 Grant out of Sacramento, #6 Lincoln, #7 Tracy, #8 WOODCREEK, you mentioned, #9 PITMAN, #10 VACAVILLE, 11 Elk Grove, and #12 Downey High School.
Downey High.
Now, we talked about this the other day on the phone. Downey right now is sitting at number 13.
They are.
So how do we get them in? Explain that to the folks.
So you got to get 4 wins to get into the playoffs. There are 4 teams from the SFL that are actually in the top 12. There's Del Oro, there is Rockland, there is Granite Bay, there is Grant. Granite Bay, Grant, Rockland, all are sitting there at 2 or 3 wins each, having to win a couple more times against teams that they're really, at least in Rockland's case, they're underdogs too. So Cal Prep says Rockland's not going to win those games. They're not going to get to 4 and 6. They're not going to make the playoffs. So
even though they're in the 12, they don't get the 4 wins. They're out. Downey at 13 gets to come in and participate in the postseason party. Division 3. We've got number 1, Placer, number 2, Capital Christian, number 3, Merced, number 4, Antelope. We were talking just a few minutes ago, what is interesting about this top 4 here in Division 3?
Well, Placer, Capital Christian, Merced, all projected to win their leagues.
Which are D3 leagues.
Those are D3 leagues. All 3 of those schools are really kind of D4 by enrollment. If they don't win their league, they do drop into D4. But clearly showing they belong in D3 by at least Cal Prep says so. They would be the top 3 and in a pretty tough Division 3.
And their records so far this year indicate that they're D3 ready. But like you said, if one of these teams stumble and don't win their D3 rated league, they will be in the D4 playoffs. So Merced has a tough game with BIJHACH Colony this Friday night.
Yeah, that's a big
game. If BIJHACH
game.
Colony wins, it takes the inside track toward the league title. Merced's looking at a D4 playoff run.
Yeah.
And would be a prohibitive favorite.
Merced, who we're both used to seeing in D1.
In D1.
And I guess it was a little while ago, but it doesn't seem that long ago that Merced was playing in D1 section championships. Now they're D4 by enrollment. It's kind of crazy.
Rounding out the D3 bracket, number 5, BIJHACH Colony. We mentioned they have a big game with Merced this Friday night. That's the Cortez Bowl. I'm a Merced grad. My daughters are BIJHACH Colony grads.
Oh, wow.
Too bad for them. Where were we? Number 6, Ponderosa. Number 7, Manteca, the reigning D3 champion. Number 8, Yuba City. Number 9, Sacramento. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Number 10 is River Valley. Number 11, Christian Brothers. And number 12, Burbank.
Manteca sitting there. They are the defending D3 champs, but with this adjustment to the football playoffs, going from 16 and 18 brackets to all 12-team brackets. In the past, Division 3 was a lot of VOL teams and a lot of Cal teams from Sacramento, that sort of thing. Now, with those being 12-team brackets, you're seeing larger schools that really have never been in D3. Antelope has never, they've never really been in D3 whatsoever. And you also have schools like Placer and Capital Christian, because of realignment, they're in D3 leagues now. They're moving up to higher divisions than really they've ever competed in.
So you mentioned the D3 leagues and Merced moving up or moving down. You can only move down 1 league. Correct?
One division from your league.
I'm sorry, 1 division. So if you play in a D3 rated league, you can only move down to 4.
Correct.
Can't get into 5
Can't
no
get
matter
into
what.
5. Yep, that's correct.
Hey, one team we haven't heard of mentioned yet is Oakdale. Are they in or are they out? You're going to have to find out at the D4 through 7 video. Be sure to check back with Will and me. Thanks for joining us. For Will, I'm Joe Cortez. We'll see you next time.